And I walked in there, I was on my own in there, and then I heard the door go and there he comes in. And he's right in my face with his fucking horrible, ugly, carved up face, and he's right there. I didn't nick your fucking card, mate. Stop going around saying it. But I couldn't let that go now because everybody knew that he'd robbed me. Is 25 euros worth me fucking this geezer right up? And I want the truth. Why the fuck did you try to pin it all on me? And you know what he said? I'll pick up a chair and I'll stand behind him. I'll pull it back. So then I was genuinely worried because I didn't know whether this fella was just gonna do it anyway. But he said out of respect for me, he weren't gonna do it. But you see, Tony had a job of mopping, but he mopped the landing above me and the staircases what went up. So his plan was to throw him from the top to the bottom. There was only so much I could do. He said to me, that is too much money for him to turn down. He's got a missus who's in prison. Can't send her any money. Like I said, the story about him sending messages over the radio station. He's got a family in Marseille. 100 grand is a lot to these people. But on the other hand, Tony had control of the lawyers. He was in business with my dad, so I had to protect him to a certain level. So the next morning I decided to take aside. At this point it was quite hard to get him away from the Rockies that are surrounded him, you know, but I took him aside, I had a little walk around, and at this time he was broken. He was a broken man, but I looked at him like my granddad. I really loved him. Everybody loved him. I felt sorry, he was too old to be in a position like that. I'm not gonna go into how that all came on top. That is a whole nother interview, what we will get into. Don just did not deserve to be in there with us. He was just too old a man. Decided to try and get him to call this off, this movie was making against Tony. There was no reasoning with him. At this point I decided to just cut everybody off to a certain extent and just keep myself to myself, man. Just do my time, keep my nut down, and that was that, you know. So, and Tony was doing the same. Tony cut himself off from everybody. He was walking around the yard on his own. Another month went by and I'll get a conjugal visit, and I think you had to be there over a month. After your first month you get your conjugal visit. Daisy, my brother and my dad came in to a closed visit with me. At this point I would have loved it to have been Daisy on her own so I could just fuck her. That weren't the case. My brother and my dad were there as well. It was great to see them all. So my old man's in, assured me everything's gonna be alright. He says, listen mate, a couple of months I'll be able to get you out of here. So I had these tracksuit bottoms on, and you know you got your lace bit where you tie up what goes right the way round, yeah? So my dad brought in hundreds of euros. We rolled them all the way up to tiny little strips and we fed them all the way round the whole bit where the string goes. And I walked out, went straight through, back to my cell, paying for things with real money in there. So I was the only one that was walking around who actually had real money inside the prison. So I get back to the block and there's rumours that Cole, his court case is coming up and he's been shipped out to Madrid. We were like, happy fucking days, man. That was like a weight off everybody's shoulders, a weight off the whole module's shoulders, you know? Everybody was fucking over the moon, he was gone. The weirdest fucking thing happened. George woke up one morning, he goes, I've just had a dream. Colin is back. I was like, what? I was like, nah mate, he got shipped out like a week ago. Rick, I've just dreamt that he's come back. Went out in the yard, bang, there he is, been come back. He dreamt it, you know what I mean? It was just a random thing, but it was just weird. They dreamt that. So anyway, Cole's back now. I think they had a problem with his case, got him mixed up with somebody, took him over there, then brought him back. The system in Spain was fucked. Totally fucked. You know, there weren't nothing what you couldn't buy your way out of to a certain extent in Spain. So at this point, I've got a couple of quid. You get a card to pay at the shop. Got your card, it's on your money. It's like a little bank card, exactly the same size, and you just scan it in there like a cash machine touch thing, you know. And I think you got like 25 euros a week. Everybody's allowed, but I had two of them. 50 euros a week I'm allowed, right? So one day, Carl was seen coming out of my chabola, out of my cell. I never saw him, but somebody told me. And my card was missing, but I didn't know it was him. but it was kind of obvious, but I couldn't prove it. I didn't want to go and confront this fella unless it was 100%. All of a sudden, a man who had nothing, literally can't even afford a water, and I'm helping him all the time. I'm buying him stuff, giving him a can of Coke here, buying him a water there, really helping this fella, giving him fags whenever. And I knew he'd robbed me, but all of a sudden, he's got a can of Coke. He's got a packet of fags. He's got a phone card. He's sitting down playing poker now. It's obvious. I knew in my head, but I couldn't prove it. He walked past me. All right, Rick, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Sat next to me, and do you know what he started singing? Spending all your money on me. I thought the audacity of this man has just sat there and sung that next to me and expects me not to cotton on or not to do nothing, you know what I mean? But remember how much of a killer this fella was. And at this point, I knew it weren't long before I was getting out of here. And if you have a fight in there and you beat the fuck out of someone, then you're likely to get 2 years or at least a year onto your sentence, depending how violent the act is. So I started putting it about everywhere. Make him confront me. I thought, right, if he comes at me, then I haven't got to go through I thought it's just a better way of doing things. So I put it about a little bit, knowing that we'd get back to him. I walked out in the yard one day, and as I said, the showers were in the yard, just off inside, but off the yard. And I walked in there, I was on my own in there, and then I heard the door go, and there he comes in. He gets straight up in my face. What's this you're saying that I nicked your card? I said, Cole, come on, mate. You nicked my card, mate. You took my shit. You know you did. No, I fucking never. And he's right in my face with his fucking horrible, ugly, carved up face, and he's right there. And I said, it don't matter though, Cole. I'm getting out soon. I don't give a fuck. Keep the card. Walked past him, walked out. I didn't nick your fucking card, mate. Stop going around saying it. I was like, okay, kept my mouth shut. But I couldn't let that go now because everybody knew that he'd robbed me. A week or so goes by, I'm keeping my nut down, I'm just thinking to myself, how am I gonna handle this fella? What is this worth the fucking risk? He's took 25, that's all he can get. 25 out of it. Once he's done that, he can't get no more. So is 25 euros worth me fucking this geezer right up? Because I had to. Everybody was looking at me to do it. I'm dwelling on it. All fucking afternoon now, siesta. Then we come back down. He goes straight to the poker table, gets out all his fags, all my fags, goes and buys himself a can, sitting there smoking away, and I thought, I can't let him have this, I can't let him do this. So he's playing poker, you got all the Russians, you got everybody playing poker in a big circle. I pick up a chair and I stand behind him. I pull it back. And then do you know what, mate? I thought this prick ain't worth it, ain't worth 25 euros. Something had to come over me to stop me doing that, because I wanted to open that face back open again, mate, because of what he'd done, blatantly done, and for doing George and all. But you know what? The lesson I've learnt with them sort of people is they hang themselves. You give these fuckers enough rope, they will hang themselves. Come across so many people like that fella. After that, I was like, I'm done with him. A couple of months went by then, the same old shit. Keeping an eye on the Tony Don situation. I'm just trying to calm that down and wait to act until we get out. Sort it out when we get out, not in here. And he seemed to be listening. So the months went on. The lawyer finally got us fianza. 6,000, and I was coming out first. I was the easy one to get out first. I was the youngest. They just proved that I weren't the Rick. You know what I mean? I was not caught on no fucking phone taps. I was a young kid. My dad was involved with it, but I was not involved with it like that. I weren't. I was just a vulnerable little kid who just needed dough to party in Spain. That is literally it. I had no dreams of being Tony Montana, the biggest drug trafficker, being rich from this shit. Nah, mate. I always knew I was better than that shit. And I always knew that when I got out of here, I would never do it again. So, as I say, I kept my nut down. And it come to the day, 6,000 euros. I got a knock at my door, and they said, Richard Jewett, tienes fianza? Oh my God. I was free. I looked at Wade, I give him a big hug. I give George a big hug, and I was like, boys, that's it, I'm gone. I left everything with these boys. The phone, the big bag full of fags and phone calls. I didn't want any of it. There weren't no need for me to take any of it. Gave it all to them. And Wade said to me, he said, enjoy your life, Rick, but please do not forget us. Call this phone and talk to us now and again. And one of my biggest regrets there was never calling that phone. At the end of the day, that was it for me. That was it. I never looked back. I knew I weren't going to be involved with no crime. Maybe if I thought of this as something that I'd want to do in life as a career, then maybe I would have. But he was a career criminal, and I didn't want nothing more to do with that. So I knew that would be the last time I saw them boys. But before I went, packed all my stuff up, walked down on the yard and said my last goodbyes to Don. So Don was coming out next week and Tony was coming out the following week after that. So we all came out one after the other. It was me first. It was the easiest they could get out first, came out first. So it was me, then it was Don, and then it was Tony. But as I say, I will talk about that in a whole nother interview, how that even happened for us to all be in that situation together like that, and why everybody wanted to have everybody killed. Another long story. But I knew I had to confront Tony before I left here. There was something that happened between us that got us arrested. There's something that I never said to him, and I had to say it before I got out, because I wanted an answer from him. The reason why we got arrested was because his phone was tapped, and there was something I had to say, but I bottled it up. The whole time I was in there, I bottled this up because I didn't want it to, I wanted to deal with it when we were out. I didn't want to deal with it in there like Don was doing. I didn't. I wanted to keep, so there was so much bottled up, and now I was getting out, I had to say to him. So this was in the morning, this was first thing in the morning, and he was mopping. So I walked all the way up to the top flight of stairs, and there he was mopping away. And I said, Tony, I'm out, but I want to know one thing from you, and I want the truth. Why the fuck did you try to pin it all on me? And you know what he said? Better one going down than all of us. Right there and then I knew what he thought of me, you know. So as I say, I will go into the story of how all that happened. But right now, I just got out. I had Daisy, my brother and Jason pick me up outside the prison. I ran to them, I was free. But the bail conditions, every single day, I had to go to the court in Denia to go and sign my name every single day so they could keep an eye on me. So it was like being on tag in a way. So every single day, without fail, I'm doing everything by the book. Right there, I made a promise that I would never do crime ever again. But then a couple weeks went by, I got a call from my dad. He said, Rick, I've got a job for you, do you want to do it?